This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. Convicted of flooding city streets with cocaine and heroin, drug leader Richard Grundy III now faces a federal judge who will determine his fate.
Using video games to teach valuable lessons both in and out of the classroom. I'll show you the program right here in Central Indiana that hopes to help kids with autism.
And showing off all of your holiday cheer without breaking the bank. The holiday lights and decorations you should look for so you don't waste your money.
This holiday season, we're working for you, making sure you don't become the victim of a scam. We have a warning about an internet secret Santa exchange that could leave you with a lump of coal.
Plus, we're heading back in time this morning for our Throwback Thursday. The reason an influx of limousines were causing major headaches for the city of Indianapolis in 1984.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that one. That looks good. Riding in style. We are riding in style into this Thursday morning, December the 12th.
And get ready for the new normal, which is simply cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cold when you step out the door today. But, guys, Todd has been telling us there is a little bit of good news in today's forecast, right?
Yeah, you know, we're going above normal later on this afternoon. As I said last hour, anytime in December you're above normal, I think you're doing pretty well in the temperature department. To go with the above normal temperatures, pretty quiet weather conditions, so that's good as well. Temperatures this morning, as you mentioned, anywhere from 19 to 25 degrees. It's chilly with some high clouds moving through the area. We have this little band of cloud cover that's moving through the central portion of the state to the north and to the south. The skies are a little bit clearer, but no precipitation. You will not encounter anything on your morning commute. Yesterday, we had a few flurries that made their way through the area. Not the case today. All that snow you see to the north, that's exactly where that is going to stay. So it's a partly cloudy day for us from start to finish. We will warm pretty quickly here this morning. Keep in mind, yesterday our high temperature only got up to 32 degrees. Today we should be there already by 10 a.m. and then by the noon hour we're pushing 40 degrees with some sunshine. Then we'll continue to warm. We'll talk more about the rest of today and also look ahead to the rest of the weekend. The weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your commute through the downtown area. I-65 here, our view from Fletcher Avenue. Traffic between the north and south splits is moving along smoothly. No issues or crashes that will slow down your commute. So let's take a look right now at some drive times. Planning out your commute right now, heading southbound on I-69, starting off here at State Road 13, heading to the I-465 ramps. It's a 14-minute drive in that area. Everything's traveling up to speed.
The leader of a drug trafficking operation in Indianapolis will be sentenced in court today.
Richard Grundy III was found guilty after a federal trial back in August. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning at the federal courthouse in downtown Indianapolis with the latest. Alyssa.
Good morning. Richard Grundy's conviction carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison. And according to the U.S. Attorney here in Indianapolis, Grundy led a multi-state operation of trafficking drugs, including cocaine, methamphetamine, marijuana, and all here in the Circle City. Now, that all was, Grundy was first on trial in July in Indianapolis, but a mistrial was declared and the retrial was moved to Evansville. Grundy and 4 other defendants were found guilty on all counts, including possession, distribution, conspiracy to distribute, and conspiracy to launder money. 4 years ago, Grundy faced multiple charges in another case, including 4 counts of conspiracy to commit murder. Several charges were eventually thrown out, and Grundy pleaded guilty to 1 count of dealing marijuana and was sentenced to probation in that case. Now, while Grundy faces up to life in prison for his sentence, his co-defenders, the 4 others that were in trial with him earlier this year, those people face 10 years to life. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
The time now is 6:04. We have breaking news now out of Bartholomew County. A statewide silver alert has been issued for this man, Cameron Dwayne Reed. Columbus police say the 56-year-old was last seen last night at 11 o'clock. Now, Reed is described as 5 feet 10 inches tall, 180 pounds, with grayish white hair and blue eyes. He also has a tattoo of a bird on his right forearm. Police say he is believed to be in extreme danger and may require medical assistance. If you see him, you're asked to call Columbus Police or 911 right away.
A mother facing charges after calling police on her son for bringing a gun to school is also scheduled to appear in a courtroom today. Mary York's pretrial conference is set for this afternoon. You may remember last December, York called police to warn them that her son was planning to open fire at Dennis Intermediate School out in Richmond. Police say they cornered that teen in a stairwell and he killed himself. York is being charged with neglect of a dependent and criminal recklessness. Right now, her jury trial is set for January 14th.
Right now, Kokomo police are searching for this teenager who escaped from the youth detention center. Police say 17-year-old Levante Brown fled from the Robert Kinsey Youth Center on foot around 8 last night. He was taken into custody earlier in the day for resisting law enforcement, battery on a police officer, and dealing marijuana. Brown was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and white tennis shoes. Police say he also has small cuts on his right hand. Anyone who sees Brown is asked to call 911.
State lawmakers are talking about creating new legislation over consent. You see, currently, sex without consent is not a crime in our state. It's only illegal if there is force, threat of force, or if the person is incapacitated. State lawmakers, different organizations, and community members in a panel discussion on the issue at the Julia Carson Government Center. They want to define consent by passing a new law. The sponsor of that bill tells RTV6 this is something everyone should be able to agree on.
This issue transcends beyond political party. I mean, rape happens to people no matter what party they are or no party. And so it's really a human issue.
That was Representative Sue Arrington, and she says defining consent in the law will make many rape cases easier to prosecute.
Time now is 6:07. A Central Indiana woman grieving the death of her husband is now forced to deal with the painful loss of some of his belongings. Janet Wilson, Harrison's husband, had been sick since 2000. Before passing away, he was taken to Franciscan Health on South Emerson Avenue. Janet says while visiting them there, she asked the staff several times for his wallet. She was told it was locked up and no one with a key was available. Now, more than a month later, after contacting the hospital several times, that wallet is still missing.
Chase Bank froze my bank accounts because Howard and I were on the same account. I can't get that straightened out until I get a death certificate. I can't get a death certificate because he hasn't been cremated yet.
Well, RTV6 reached out to Franciscan Health's spokesperson on Janet's behalf. He told us in part, quote, because of privacy laws, we cannot discuss the details of this case. Our hospital strongly encourages patients not to bring valuables or treasured possessions with them before they're admitted for care. The hospital is unable to accept responsibility for patients' personal belongings during their stay, end quote.
Muncie will have a new police chief starting January 1st. Nathan Sloan will start his role as chief in the new year, taking over for Chief Joe Winkle, who is leaving the position December 30th. Sloan has served as a patrol officer, investigator, a member of the SWAT team, and has been named Detective of the Year 4 times. Mayor-elect Dan Ridenour made the announcement on Wednesday, saying he hopes to improve community relations and communication within the department. He received 15 applicants for the police chief job. Melissa Pease will serve as the deputy police chief.
So after sitting empty for more than 2 years, plans are now underway for a former marsh in Fishers. The city and the redevelopment company, Strongbox Commercial, has announced an agreement to demolish that building at 96th Street and Lantern Road. Strongbox plans to invest $7 million to tear down the property and make way for that new development.
It seems all kids want to do these days is play games, whether it be on a phone, computer, or gaming system.
Yeah, and it actually may not be a bad thing because students at Butler University are working on this computer game that could help children living with autism work on their social skills. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with the game and explaining how this would work. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So this is what the game looks like. Just your average combat game, pretty normal. But where the learning comes in is here. When the character gets into the game, when the player, Disney gets into the game, they communicate with the characters to learn those social skills. So like most games, there is a story, but with this story, the player gets to choose the outcome. When a character comes up and says something, there are multiple responses the player can choose, and based on their choices, the character will either have a negative or positive reaction. The goal of the game is to teach the player to read facial expressions.
They can then see the impacts of their words and choices on another human-like face, and hopefully in real life be able to see those same expressions and identify them.
The Butler University students are making this game in partnership with Sycamore Services, a local nonprofit that works with children and adults living with autism. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we'll take a closer look into the game and when and where you can expect to see it. I'll send it back to you guys.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Construction is an industry overflowing with job openings. Coming up, how a new program is working to prepare more people to be a part of that industry. But first, let's check in with the one and only Teak.
And Raphael, as you walk out the door here this morning, it's chilly once again all across central Indiana as temperatures have dipped down into the 20s and will stay in the 20s throughout the duration of the morning drive. However, this afternoon's a completely different story. We get above normal. We'll talk all about that and look ahead to your weekend as well. Coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:11. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
LO.com. GoLo.com.
Welcome back. We are monitoring traffic right now on the northwest side, I-65 here in 38th Street. A semi there stalled on the side of the road, but everything on the northwest side is traveling up to speed, both northbound and southbound.
The time now is 6:14, and for the past year, as you know, Hiring Hoosiers has been connecting you to jobs, resources, and training. And this morning, we're checking back with an industry overflowing with open positions with good wages to boot as well.
Horizontal construction affects each of us every day, and a new initiative is trying to get more people to be a part of it. As RTV6's Mark Mullins shows you, applicants just need to be drug-free and show up on time.
That large machine Travis Coons is operating to lay pipe at this project on 96th and Keystone on the north side is called an excavator.
There's a lot of gratification to it, knowing that you can do things like this, and you know, you're building America, basically.
He's been building bridges, highways, and overpasses for more than 20 years.
It's very good pay. I mean, it's long hours. It's hard work, but it's very good pay. It's satisfying.
As a heavy equipment operator, Travis is just one part of a vast team working in a stable industry known as horizontal construction.
We're talking about roads, highways, utilities.
With Indiana on course to resurface more than 10,000 miles of roadways and repairing or replacing more than 1,300 bridges, there's plenty of work now and in the long-term future. But this industry is seeing a shortage of workers. A new initiative called Work in Roads is trying to fill the void. It's made up of a handful of contractor companies and building materials suppliers.
All working together to promote, to let people know we have got jobs. We are open for business, and we are eager to have you come to work in the highway construction industry.
Richard Hedgecock is president of the agency leading the effort to recruit employees in the industry, from engineers and inspectors to project managers and operators. The Work in Roads initiative is aiming to reach a variety of populations who might not have considered this as an option to begin with.
Recent high school graduates, returning veterans, people who are consider themselves to be underemployed. We're ready to bring you on, we're ready to train you up, and we're ready to provide you with not just a good job, but a good career.
Travis wants more young people to take an interest in what he does.
I remember when I was the young guy on the crew. Now I'm the oldest guy on the crew, and I don't see that next guy behind me. He's like, where is he?
Work in Roads is hoping to come up with an answer to that question. On Indianapolis's north side, Mark Mullins, RTV6.
Mark, thank you so much. Let's talk numbers. In 2017, the average yearly salary for a horizontal construction employee in the U.S. was $60,000. Indiana's average pay during that same year was competitive at $57,000. In the meantime, Indiana is increasing construction employment month by month, according to economists. If you want to learn more about this, we have a link in this story on hiringhoosiers.com. And I agree, a lot of construction out there on Indiana roads, because we see it every day.
We do, but here at 617, we are seeing construction slow down because it is winter time. We don't see as much this time of year. And Todd, I feel for those folks who do have to work outside this time of year because it's cold.
Yeah, you know, I drive past a construction site on my way home to work every day, and they're all bundled up. So, yeah, I feel for people who have to work outside, especially if you spend long periods of time outside at a time. So today, though, you may find a little bit of relief, though. That is the good news. As temperatures get back above average later on this afternoon, there is some rain and snow potential in our forecast. Not today, going forward. And it's a cold start to next week, and that's when we get our next push of some colder air. How about this? A beautiful full moon. It's really, really bright. I've seen many comments on Facebook and on Twitter about how bright the sky is here this morning, and that's all due to the full moon that's out there. It's covered a little bit by some high thin clouds out there, but take a look at that as it makes its trek towards the horizon in the western sky. Temperatures sitting in the 20s right now, 25 in Indy, 22 in Kokomo, 23 in Bloomington. Our normal low this time of year is 25, so we're kind of on par for where we should be as far as where we start each morning with our low temperatures, but it's this afternoon that eventually gets us above normal. Here are the clouds from Muncie through Indianapolis back towards Terre Haute. But again, these are just some high thin clouds, not really going to impact much at all. So grab the sunglasses as you walk out the door this morning. You will definitely need them off and on throughout the day, and we'll kind of be in and out of the clouds. So this one band's moving through right now. You see the clear skies here in central Illinois, then more clouds. The one thing we don't have to worry about today is any precipitation. That is going to stay to our north. So we quickly warm this morning from the 20s to about 36 degrees by the time we get to 11 a.m. And then we're into the low 40s by 2 p.m. with a mixture of sun and clouds. And high temperatures should level off right around 43, 44 degrees this afternoon. Anytime you're above normal in December, that's a good thing, right? And then this evening, temperatures will slowly cool back down into the 30s. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, it is not as cold. We're not talking about mid to low 20s. Instead, we're talking about 25 to 30 degrees, depending on where you are. In fact, most people will probably be closer to 30 than 25 tomorrow morning, so it's a warmer start. With the warmer start will come a warmer finish for us, as highs will eventually get up to right around 45 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow, though, I do think there's probably a little more in the way of cloud cover across the area, so that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. But despite the cloud cover, anytime 45, it's not bad for this time of year. Now, once we get to the weekend, Saturday we're up to 42 degrees. Sunday's much colder at 33. You notice the rain on Saturday, and I do think it mixes with a little bit of snow, but with highs in the 40s, any snow that you do see on the backside of the system is simply just going to melt away. So you don't really have to worry about that. But here comes this system, 9:30. We're basically still dry in the morning. Comes in midday, mid-morning to the west, then mid-afternoon off towards the east. It starts as rain, mixes with a little bit of snow, but again, we're not thinking much in the way of any accumulation with this system. I want to jump on TrueCast, though, now to Monday morning. So we skip Sunday because it's a quiet day for us with just lots of clouds. Monday, this system bears a little more in the way of watching because there'll be more in the way of cold air in place in the morning hours. So it may start as a wintry mix before going over to all rain in some areas as the warmer air moves in. But you still notice snow to the north, mixed precipitation just north to Indianapolis. So the track of that storm system is going to be very key in determining what kind of precipitation we see. So Monday is probably the trickiest day that we have in our extended forecast, but we have several days to get there, Lauren, before we have to fine-tune that for you, and then chilly temperatures behind that system once again for next week.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here is a live look right now at your commute on this Thursday morning in the downtown area. I-65 and I-70 here at the North Split. Traffic is moving along just fine. No delays to slow you down, so let's plan out that commute. Heading in from areas like Lebanon, starting you off here at State Road 39, heading into the downtown area, a 26-minute drive there, so everything is traveling up to speed. West Side drivers, Brownsburg, starting you here at State Road 267, heading to I-465 on the west side. It's a 7-minute commute along eastbound I-74.
So you may say it's not fair, right? The federal government wants to make it more expensive for Americans to get documents on their family history. DNA testing kits have exploded in popularity in the last several years. Other services let you request documents to help trace your family history. Well, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency wants to increase prices on those documents by a whopping up to 380%. And that means a single citizenship document or a visa application could be $625. Critics say that would put the popular hobby out of reach for many Americans.
If you're moving a little slow and still need to buy some Christmas lights, we have some advice, what you should be looking for during your trip to the store so you don't waste your money. More on that coming up after the break. All right, Raphael, the other morning you told us that it was warmer in Anchorage, Alaska than it was here in central Indiana. I'm not sure what the weather
is like. It was 33 degrees
today. It's probably still around the same temperature. So we were saying a trip to Alaska doesn't sound terrible right now. And we are in luck because Alaska Airlines is feeling the holiday spirit and they are offering an ugly sweater to its travelers. Here's how it works. Anyone that wears a holiday sweater on Friday, December 20th, so next Friday, guys, we're going. Okay. We will be given priority boarding. The 20th is National Ugly Sweater Day, but Alaska Airlines says any kind of holiday sweater will do, even if it's technically not ugly. Alaska Airlines has a flight from Indy to Seattle on the 20th, so at least we can get that far. We might not make it to Anchorage.
I'm ready.
Part way.
I'm ready.
Very cool. Well, a different kind of porch pirate caught red-handed here on the security camera, recording a squirrel snatching a package off the front door and then taking off. Someone saw the squirrel, later returned the package, and this may not be the squirrel's first offense either. Yeah, another person in that apartment says he often finds his packages in the bushes.
Squirrels,
there he is.
You know, squirrels are cute, but people are not. So if a squirrel does it, I'm okay. It's the people.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't like when people do that.
Maybe they just smelled peanut butter in there or something like that. Yeah.
So spoiler alert, the latest competitor on The Masked Singer was revealed last night, and it turned out to be an Indiana Pacer. By the picture, you can tell already who it is. The show features celebrities who wear costumes to cover their identities during the singing competition. Now, the singer in this thingamajig, I wouldn't know how to spell that, thingamajig costume, was Victor Oladipo. On the show Tuesday, he sang Winter Wonderland by Bing Crosby. Now, he was eliminated last night, but made it all the way to the semifinals.
You know, maybe that is a blessing in disguise that he was eliminated so that he can focus on getting better and getting back to the court.
Back on the court.
Pacers are having a great season already, so why not make it even better?
Yeah, big win last night against the Celtics. So once we get Vic back, now he's done with the singing. Well, he'll always do the singing. Done with the show, I guess we should say. We'll hopefully see him on the court soon.
Yeah.
All right, outside right now, it's chilly. Bundle up as you walk out the door. We're in the 20s this morning, and that's the way we will stay here throughout the course of the day today, at least throughout the 8 o'clock hour, and then eventually as we work our way into the afternoon hours, we'll see our temperatures get above normal. So you just got to be patient for a few hours here this morning before the temperatures start to moderate, and eventually we're above normal into the 40s later on this afternoon. That is the good news. With skies, it'll be partly cloudy, so a decent December day for us. We'll talk more about your extended forecast in a little bit.
All right, Todd. Well, holiday lights and decorations, they're beautiful, right, this time of year, but it can also add a lot to your electric bill.
John Matarese shows us some tips to lower the cost so you don't waste your money.
What kind of lights are on your house this holiday season? If they're standard incandescent mini bulbs, you're really wasting a lot of money these days. When it comes to buying new lights or even a pre-lit Christmas tree, many of us are budget conscious and we let the price decide for us. You know, a string of standard bulbs might cost just $5, while those energy-saving LED lights are $9 or $10. But as the old saying goes, that's penny wise and pound foolish. The U.S. Energy Department says LED lights use 80% less energy than incandescent. Standard lights on one Christmas tree can cost you $10 in electricity to run for the month of December, while LED lights will cost just $2. For a whole house, LED bulbs can save $50 during the month of December. One place to watch out for this cost is on pre-lit Christmas trees. It may be tempting to grab a standard bulb pre-lit tree if it's cheap, but you'll save more in the long run with an LED tree, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Convicted drug kingpin Richard Grundy is scheduled to be sentenced in federal court today. In August, a jury convicted Grundy on several charges, including conspiracy to distribute meth and conspiracy to launder money. More in his sentencing hearing and a live report coming up.
Let's take you to Madison County, where the coroner is asking for your help in finding family members of a veteran who died last week. The coroner says that 89-year-old George Green lived alone in his home on North C Street in Elwood. He died last Thursday. The coroner hopes someone can help find any living relatives. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the coroner's office. The number on your screen, 765-425-9481.
Vice President Mike Pence will be back in Indianapolis tomorrow. He's scheduled to appear at a roundtable with Governor Eric Holcomb. The location has not yet been announced, but the vice president was just in Indianapolis about 3 weeks ago for a forum on education.
March Madness will once again be going to Indianapolis in the year 2022. The NCAA confirmed that Cincinnati's Heritage Bank Center will not be ready to host the first and second round men's tournament games in 2022. Instead, the 6 games will be played right here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Lucas Oil Stadium will host the Midwest Regional semifinals and finals this coming March.
Welcome to Indianapolis. Hey, listen, we love basketball, so you can come every year. You can come in 2020, 2021. Tomorrow, right? It's just a little cold today to be out playing
Only
hoops.
March Madness was already starting tomorrow, so we could hunker down and watch some games during this cold weather.
You know, and then the warmer temperatures follow pretty quickly in April and May. Not the case. Have a little while to get there. But today we will get above normal later on this afternoon, and that is the good news in this forecast, at least going forward, especially after yesterday and the day before when high temperatures were at or below freezing for most of us. So what do you need to grab before you go? Very similar to yesterday. You need the hat and gloves, especially if you're outside for an extended period of time. The winter jacket and the sunglasses will be needed today, as we'll be in and out of the clouds at times. So as we work our way throughout the morning hours, this is what you can expect. And I think the thing you'll notice the most is the warm-up. While it's chilly right now with temperatures in the mid-20s, we do warm quite quickly, and by the noon hour already, we should be pushing the 40-degree mark, and then we'll continue to warm from that point forward. And as far as the sky cover goes, there's a little bit of high thin cloud cover that's out there right now, but that's just about it. They'll move through uneventful, these clouds. Then we get back into the sunshine. There's more clouds off to the west, and they'll work their way through at times as well during the afternoon hours. What we do not have to worry about, though, is that snow. That stays to our north, at least for now. There are some snow opportunities, though, in our extended forecast. More on that coming up in just a little bit, but right now it's 6:32. Let's get another update on the roads with Lauren.
All right, Todd, here's a live look right now at your commute to our northwest I-65 near West 56th Street. Traffic is moving along just fine in this area, both northbound and southbound. Just into the RTV6 newsroom at this hour, Columbus police are looking for this man. Come take a good look at your screen. They've issued a silver alert for 56-year-old Cameron Dwayne Reed. Reed has not been seen since 11 o'clock last night. Police say he may be in extreme danger and may require medical assistance. If you think you've seen this man, you can call Columbus police at the number on your screen, 812-376-2600.
Several attempts failed to get the leader of a drug operation off the streets.
Today, Richard Grundy III will be sentenced after a jury found him guilty this past summer. Our Alyssa Donovan is live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Indianapolis, where all eyes today will be on that judge's decision. Alyssa?
That's right, Raphael. And Richard Grundy's conviction carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison. And according to the U.S. State Attorney here in Indianapolis, Grundy was the leader of a drug trafficking multi-state ring that distributed methamphetamine, marijuana, heroin, and cocaine. Now, Grundy was first on trial in July in Indianapolis, but a mistrial was declared and the retrial was moved to Evansville. Grundy and 4 other defendants were found guilty on all counts, including possession, distribution, conspiracy to distribute, and conspiracy to launder money. 4 years ago, Grundy faced multiple charges in another case, including 4 counts of conspiracy to commit murder, Several charges were eventually thrown out, and Grundy pleaded guilty to 1 count of dealing marijuana. He was sentenced to probation in that case. Now, while Grundy faces the sentence of life in prison here today, his co-defenders face 10 years to life. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. A request for $418 million in taxpayer money will go before voters in Washington Township next year. Last night, the school district approved putting 2 referenda on the May ballot. One is for $16 million annually over 8 years for operating costs. The other is for $285 million for construction projects. There was mixed reaction to that vote.
Being a parent in this district for 9 years, this district uses what they have. They stay within the budget that they have, but that doesn't mean that we don't need more. The cost of education, what we receive from the state, the funding, has not kept up with inflation. So you can't keep doing more with less.
I cannot see any reason to have another $400 million referendum when we had 2 in 2016 that were $214.5 million. That's obscene.
The district says the money is needed for things like additional school police officers, athletic coaches, bus drivers, and mechanics.
The mission to find the couple who left behind priceless possessions after a round of devastating tornadoes ripped through Kokomo in 2016 has been accomplished. Tuesday, RTV6 introduced you to Crystal Bray, the Indianapolis woman who collected the lost memories of James and Nina Townsend. The items included family photos, a Bible, several military mementos, and more. For 3 years, Bray has tried to find the Townsends in hopes of returning the priceless items. Less than 24 hours after appearing on RTV6, James Townsend has been located. He says the lost items now have even more meaning after losing Nina 2 years ago.
Oh my God, Crystal, I don't know what to say to you.
You don't have to say anything.
I've been crying all afternoon. Now I get to have more stuff of my wife's.
James Townsend now lives in North Carolina. Bray plans to mail him his belongings, and it gets even better. The two may meet up when she visits North Carolina early next year.
The time now is 6:36, and this is all about making lives better for other people. A group of Butler students are behind a computer game with the goal of helping Hoosier children living with autism. They partnered with a non-for-profit to get the job done. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with more on this unique project. And Kelsey, we're looking forward to the game.
Yeah, Raphael, so I don't know a kid that doesn't like to play games, whether it be on a gaming system, a phone, or a computer. And that's why these students are building a video game that will teach children with autism positive communication that they can take into their face-to-face interactions.
I didn't know they could do that.
Matthew O'Hearn is playing a video game he created with his classmates at Butler University.
The game right now is kind of in a beta format. It's close to completion.
They're working in partnership with Sycamore Services to make a video game for children and teens with autism.
The dream situation is that this video game can help kids develop social skills and understand social cues, like if someone's smiling, or different facial features and how they show emotion.
During the game, the player has discussions with characters where they choose their response. Then the character's facial expression will change based on their reaction.
They can then see the impacts of their words and choices on another human-like face, and hopefully in real life be able to see those same expressions and identify them.
The goal here is to have an impact in the community.
Panos Linos is the instructor for the course, and he says this project is a win-win for everyone involved.
Our students receive academic credit, they learn a lot, and at the same time they're helping a non-for-profit organization that usually doesn't have the resources to develop something like that, something creative.
Before this class, O'Hearn says he's never been around someone with autism, and he's glad he can help in the best way he can.
It's a great feeling. I mean, it's something you created, something you developed, and being able to actually have an impact on people is nothing like it.
Now, this video game doesn't have a name yet and isn't live, but once it is complete, it will be utilized at the Sycamore Services location here in Indianapolis. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Very cool, Kelsey. Thank you so much. It is 6:39. Thousands of workers finding out they're losing their jobs just before the holidays. Next, here on Good Morning Indiana, how the state and other businesses are coming to their rescue. We'll be right back.
Your replacement window hero.
Welcome back. We have new information this morning for the hundreds of Hoosiers impacted by Celadon's sudden shutdown.
The state is now stepping in to help, as are many other businesses in central Indiana. RTV6's Kara Kenny explains how.
As Celadon shuts its doors for good, local employment agencies are stepping up to help.
Yeah, so give them a call, ask for the specific start and month.
We've had some drivers and mechanics that have both come in and interviewed.
Mike Hefner with Express Employment Professionals in Greenwood is encouraging former Celadon employees to take action now.
There are jobs available that are out there.
Jobs for drivers and mechanics, but also the hundreds working in customer service, human resources, and other support staff roles. The Department of Workforce Development is also stepping in to help. Their rapid response team is planning a virtual online meeting for former Celadon employees, and they plan to host virtual job fairs as well. Those start next week.
It's a good time to go find a job, even though people may think, oh, the holidays, people are too busy. That's not true.
And Hefner says this may even be a chance for people to find a job more suited for them.
The good thing is it's kind of a time to reflect and say, okay, I didn't expect that, but what can I go do?
Working for you, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
The first virtual job fair is scheduled for December 19th. We have a link to register on our website, theindychannel.com. Just look for this story on the homepage. Impacted workers are also encouraged to visit their local Work One office in Marion County. It's at 4410 North Shadeland Avenue.
Also on our website, you can find a link to all the companies that are hiring truck drivers here in the state of Indiana. The list from the Indiana Motor Truck Association is 21 pages long. A lot of resources for you, and the goal is to not only help truck drivers, but also technicians, recruiters, office staff members, and other employees who are now without work.
A lot of great information all in one spot, right there on theindychannel.com. You're already spending a lot of money for the holidays, yes? Well, next, our series on the 12 scams of Christmas continues with a look at a not-so-jolly scheme. But first, our jolly Todd Clauston is standing by with hopefully warmer temperatures, Todd. Maybe?
It is a decent forecast. It's not warm right now, as temperatures as you walk out the door are in the 20s, and they stay in the 20s through about 8, 9 o'clock this morning. But Raphael, once we get past the morning hours, temperatures do climb through the 30s, eventually up into the 40s with a partly cloudy sky. Turns into a decent Thursday for you. We'll talk about today, your Friday, and your weekend forecast as well, coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:44. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The game. The time now is 6:47. A scheme to give and get more presents has a new twist this year. So leading up to Christmas, we here at RTV6, we're looking at the top 12 scams popping up right now. Number 3, Secret Santa and those secret sister exchanges. You may have seen this online or even in a text. If you send someone a gift, you could get around 36 in exchange. It works like a chain letter, but this is really a pyramid scheme. Plus, many people report never receiving their gifts. And something new we're seeing this year, a secret sister version where participants mail each other bottles of wine.
It's not legal to send wine or ship wine in all states, so you could be violating, a state law somewhere. But most importantly, the U.S. Postal Service wants to let us know that this is considered a multi-level marketing scheme.
It's a scam. We haven't heard of anyone being fined for this exchange, but pyramid schemes do carry penalties that include fines, lawsuits, and even possible jail time. Also keep in mind this, some mail delivery services like UPS, they don't allow the mailing or shipment of alcohol. So if you get one of these invitations, just delete it or report it to the U.S. Postal Inspection Services. Now, working for you, we are bringing you a different scam that crooks are hoping to just get at you this time of year. Don't fall for it. You can also find out how to avoid these scams each day on our website on theindychannel.com.
Oh, can we introduce every story like that? I like that. The Celtics have been causing trouble for most of the NBA, but the Pacers showed up to burst their bubble last night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. That was especially the case for Malcolm Brogdon. The point guard led the way with 29 points and 8 assists. Indiana with a big win over one of the top teams in the East, 122 to 117. All right, let's get me pumped up on this Thursday morning.
Are we allowed to dance on this show?
I know.
Oh, sure.
And we're going to get pumped up for the forecast, I would say, later this afternoon. Todd, it's pretty cold to start this morning.
Yeah, it's very chilly here this morning. I'm going to start you with the warmest temperature that we have over the next 7 days, and that's 44 degrees. We'll get close to that today. Probably not quite there, but then the coldest temperature we have in our forecast is 19 degrees, and that is going to be not until the middle of next week. So in between tomorrow, which is 44, and about Wednesday morning of next week at 19, we have a pretty seasonable weather pattern that'll be taking place across the area after spending the past 2 days well below normal. I've been pointing this out all morning long, but spectacular full moon here this morning. They call it the cold moon. That's the name for this month's full moon, and it's really brightening up the sky, as you can see. Usually this shot's a lot darker this time of the morning, so check that out for another hour or so before it sets. 25 degrees, that is the current temperature right now. The wind is out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour, and temperatures anywhere you go across central Indiana this morning are in the 20s, so you definitely have to bundle up. It's 23 in Bloomington right now, 23 in Tipton. Richmond's at 20 degrees, 23 is the current temperature in Crawfordsville. So as you head out to walk your dog this morning, you need to bundle up and bundle up your pup as well. And we have a cute little French bulldog here, Francois, sent in by Michael Nichols here this morning. He's in the chair. It looks like he might be ready to get his hair cut there. And it kind of looks like a salon or a barber shop, but either way, it's a decent day. Once we get past the cold start, we'll give you the green pause. We'll be in and out of the clouds throughout the course of the afternoon hours today with temperatures that'll be topping off in the low 40s. So there's been some high thin clouds this morning. No precipitation threat here, though, for the day today. That is the good news. And as I expand out, you do notice there's a little more in the way of cloud cover here off to the west. The snow will stay to our north. So while we have some sunshine here this morning, I think the clouds ultimately will start to win out as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, but it's still a quiet day of weather. That is the good news for us. And then temperatures here this evening with the high clouds that will be in place will be fairly steady, and that's going to be in the mid-30s. Now tomorrow is a warmer day for us as temperatures will get up into the low to mid-40s. Once again, putting us above normal. Tomorrow, though, a little more in the way of cloud cover, so that starts us off a little bit warmer tomorrow. And the temperatures will climb up into the 40s, and we stay in the 40s for Saturday. The cold air starts to return on Sunday, and you notice the rain and snow on Saturday that I have in the forecast. The first half of your Saturday is pretty dry, but we'll look for some scattered showers to develop throughout the morning hours and linger throughout the afternoon. A few snowflakes may mix in northern and southern, northern and western locations rather, but we're not looking for any accumulation on Saturday. Monday's another storm that bears watching with some colder air in place. Could start off as a wintry mix going over to rain, then ending as snow. Some minor accumulation will be possible, but plenty of time to fine-tune that forecast, Lauren, with temperatures middle of next week only in the teens and 20s.
All right, Todd, as we approach 7 o'clock hour here, we do have traffic picking up heading into downtown. A few slowdowns, as you can see on our camera, as folks are merging at the North Split. The right side of your screen is coming off westbound I-70 heading towards Meridian Street, but overall traffic around the metro area is traveling up to speed.
In about 7 minutes, right here on RTV6, disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein coming to a settlement with dozens of his accusers without being required to admit any wrongdoing. Coming up on Good Morning America, why some women say they felt they had to accept the offer.
And 35 years ago, Indianapolis had a problem. A long problem, but also a quite stylish one. We'll explain coming up next in today's Throwback Thursday.
Live. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
It is time for Throwback Thursday, and Indianapolis was quite a bit different 35 years ago. But in 1984, it was a year the city had a lengthy problem.
So you see, Indy was overrun that year with limousine.
This is what existed before Uber?
Yeah. Limos would line the streets of downtown Indy every time there was a big event.
Man, what a time to be alive. Channel 6 reporter Marilyn Mitchell.
I was alive.
Yeah. Took an in-depth look at the long car quandary. She found the number of limos had tripled over the previous year, Raphael, and it was largely due to just one company.
The growth started about a year ago when the Indy Connection limo service began. The plush stretch limos contain fully stocked bars, TVs, and video recorders.
They told me that I was crazy, that this was a very conservative Midwestern city and that there just wasn't any market for a limousine service here in town. Nobody really promoted or marketed the service at all. And I never saw an advertisement. I never heard about limousines. If you asked somebody on the street, were there any limousines in town, they said no.
Del Fabro's business spurred on the competition. More limo services began, and suddenly there were more limos than the city could handle.
Were you?
Well, that very next year, that man, Craig Del Fabro with Indy Connection Limousines, had a special ride for a special woman. There she is, RTV6 legend Barbara Boyd, taking a ride in the company's 32-foot flagship limo called Big Red.
Right.
Look at her go.
B. Boyd, always stylish. Todd?
Yes.
And I was alive too, Raphael, in 1984, so we'll just set that record straight. Temperatures in the 40s here this afternoon with partly cloudy skies.
All right, Todd, thanks, and thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes. Good Morning America.
Enjoy your limo ride to work this morning. We'll see you later.